Hey, what's up everyone? This is Music Tech Help Guy and welcome to part 11 of my Session Players and Chord Track Explored course. In this video, I'm going to focus on fine-tuning the parameters and getting into some of the finer details in my musical arrangement, including fine-tuning articulation styles in the session bass player. I'll be converting a lot of my session bass player regions over to MIDI so that I can edit the performances manually as well. When you have a project that is made up of all session player regions, it can be kind of obvious that you're using all generative ideas. So converting over to MIDI is what allows you to transform these session player performances into your own unique compositions. Before we get started, I need to quickly tell you about the sponsor of this video, Boombox. Boombox offers musicians, bands, artists, producers, and other music industry professionals a streamlined approach to file storage, sharing, and collaboration. In addition to being able to upload your audio files, stems, mix bounces, and even full DAW sessions, collaborators can also leave time-stamped feedback and voice recordings on your tracks. And that's just scratching the surface. Boombox provides a full suite of collaborative tools. This includes Boombot AI, a virtual co-writer equipped with AI tools like separating stems from audio files and generating MIDI ideas from your input. Pitch and share your songs with private or public playlists, create your own custom artist page with your own branding and logo to showcase your music, and leverage that to find new collaborators and clients to work with. Visit boombox.io today to sign up and get 4 GB of free storage or upgrade to one of their paid plans for more storage space and additional pro features. We want to take what we have here as like a rough starting point and we want to turn it into our own thing. So if you purchased this course from logicproguide.com, you're going to get 2 demo projects in that download. You're going to get this one as is with all of the session player regions, and then another one that will look like the end result of what I'm going to do in this video. Now, I honestly have no clue what I'm going to do here. I'm just playing this by ear. So what I'm going to do is start in the beginning, go all the way through the song, and I'm going to start converting some of these over to MIDI and customizing the patterns and customizing the bass lines and the chords and things like that. Because, again, probably one of the most boring things you can do is just use session regions by themselves. I don't recommend using them as is. I recommend using them as a starting point to build your own composition. So let's start with the intro here. I'm okay with the drums, the bass. The bass, let's convert that over to MIDI. And one of the things that you'll notice is that the chord track chord progression becomes what are called region chords. So for example, if I wanted to, move this bass line over here and I wanted to sort of copy and paste the chord progression from this region, you can actually just drag it up into the chord track and it'll take those region chords and spit them up here in the chord track. Alternatively, you can remove the region chords by right-clicking or control-clicking, going down to chords, and you can select delete region chords, and it'll just be a standard MIDI region again. Now, the weird thing about these bass instruments is that they have some very specific articulations. As you drag over a note, you'll see different articulations over here. So you can see this is a dead note. That's a middle index. So it gets down to like the individual fingers that are playing the string, which is pretty crazy. So there's a lot of control in here. So it can get really complicated really quickly. Maybe I want to take out some of these notes and just simplify this section a bit more. Take out some of these dead notes. In fact, I might make this one a dead note. Here's another one. I'll make this a dead note. There's a dead note, harmonic, and then dead note. Let's do dead note. Actually, I kind of like the harmonic on that one. So again, you can get really granular with this. I mean, you can really get in here and customize these things. I think that's maybe a little too busy there. Yeah, let's maybe do something more like ba-dum-ba-dum-bum. Just do some long notes there. Maybe make those a little higher velocities. Same thing here for these like fill notes. I'm trying to increase the intensity as we come into the back end of the intro here. Let's make that more of like a shorter, maybe even a dead note there. There we go. And then let's go into our keyboard player here. Let's convert that to MIDI. Let's take the bass notes. Let's make those go up an octave. You can press Shift Option up or down to move the selected notes up or down by 1 octave. Let's bring the velocity up a bit. And by the way, if you purchased the course, I've swapped out the demo session with an electric piano instrument rather than a contact instrument, because I realize not everyone has contact. Convert this to MIDI. I want to do something a little different here. I'm going to take out that last little tom hit there. I don't like the sound of that crash. And you can transpose notes by semitones by holding Option and pressing up or down. So our main crash is on, what is that, A2? There should be another one down here. Yeah. So like on the big beats, I generally like there to be like big crashes. You know, I don't like these like ride cymbal crashes. And at the beginning of sections, I like double crash cymbals as well. So I may do something like that, where I've got left and right crashes. Whoop, I messed something up there. Let's try that again. Oh, I see. So the crashes are actually slightly ahead of the grid, which is causing them to get trimmed off. So I'm just going to select all three of these first notes. We'll just quantize straight to the grid. Not a big deal. It's a downbeat anyway. There we go. Maybe add a little something extra in here. Let's add like an open hi-hat here. Yeah, there we go. Let's do the same thing here too. Add an open hat right there. Just remember, Option up and down allows you to transpose notes up and down. All right, this pattern here I think is a little too complex, and I also want it to follow the drummer. So let's go ahead and do that. I also don't like that it starts off on the double stops. So let's go under details. Let's roll back the double stops. I like these chords here, but I want to change up a couple of them. You can see here at bar 6 and 10, that the chord just kind of sustains over. What I actually want to do is split that into two separate chords so the chord is played again. So for this, I can use the scissors tool. I'll go ahead and use my bar snap, drag over the chord, and then just cut with the scissors tool. Do the same thing over here. And I may even take this top note and maybe let's drop it down somewhere else. So the chord is D minor 7. So we have D, D, C, that's the 7th. E, that's adding like a 9. So let's go to D there. And we'll go A here. And then over here at bar 10, it's the same chord. And you know what? Let's take this note. Let's put that up on F sharp. Or F, rather. So we have D, F, A, D, D. Oh, there's no 7th. Okay. Where do we want to add the 7th? Well, we already got a D in the bass, right? So let's take the D here. And let's drop that down to C. So that'll be the 7th. Now, if you want to add in other instruments, you can actually take these MIDI regions or the session player regions, and you can duplicate them down to other instruments and add completely new layers. For example, I have this custom instrument of mine here called Ghosts. It's sort of like a reverse pad. Maybe I want to layer that in with my keyboards. I can totally do that. Now, this is a custom sampler instrument of mine that I made from scratch, but I'll make sure that when I save this, I include that sampler audio data so you can use this instrument for yourself if you like. Okay, so one real simple thing I want to do here on the studio percussionist track, I want to have just the tambourine going. And honestly, I just want the tambourine like on 2 and 4, basically. And I don't even need the session player for this. Let's just create a pattern region here instead. And I'm just going to put the tambourine where I want it. And that's it. It's very simple. And you can do that for any of these instruments. Just because they're session players doesn't mean that they don't behave like normal software instruments. They behave like normal software instruments. So you can use pattern regions on any of these. You can use MIDI regions on any of these. All right, let's go over to our pre-chorus here. I definitely want to convert the drums to MIDI because there's not much of a crash at the beginning here. Yeah, just go straight to the ride cymbal. So let's start off with a crash here. Let's do another one down here. There we go. Now, some of these rides have different tones to them. So what I really like to do is I like to sort of vary the type of ride. So like on the downbeats, I'll do like the bell. Or you can do it the opposite way. You can make the off beats on the bell just for a bit of syncopation. So I'll go ahead and select all of those, put those on the bell, and then I can do the same thing over here. So that's another way to approach this, but I think I'm just going to take each of the rides that are on the down beats, and I'm going to move these up to the bell position. Okay, so I got all of the ride cymbals where I want them. Let's add a crash here. Let's see what that sounds like. So I don't like the tambourine here either. So let's just go with the shaker there. I'm going to convert this to MIDI and check this out. Let's say I also want the tambourine here. If you change your drag mode to overlap and then just convert these to MIDI and then drag them and duplicate them on top of that region. And if you drag over these just like that, so both of them are selected. If they're surrounded by regions, it's going to be a little more difficult to do. That's why I moved those out of the way. But you'll see it's selecting both the upper and lower regions, and press J. It'll join them together. And I'm going to go ahead and just delete those region chords because there's no reason for them to be there. And we'll pull these back. So now I've just got a shaker and then a tambourine on the snare notes. Cool. I like everything else, but I do want to add in like a bit more of like a legit like synth pad here. So let's throw in another instrument here. And let's just search the library for a pad. Let's try this Aurora pad. And I'm going to take the chord progression from up here and just drag it down. And that will add a session player region. Once again, it looks like MIDI. It even says MIDI region. But when you double click on it, you'll see it opens up the session player. And then all I need to do is turn off change patch, go to keyboard player, go to simple pad, and then boom, there are my chords. Hey everyone, Editor Josh just popping in here for a quick second. I just want to explain that what you just saw is not the normal way it's supposed to happen. I'm not sure if that was a glitch. I'm not really sure why it created a session player region. If you create a software instrument track and load up any patch, and then you have a chord progression up on the chord track, and you drag that chord track down, the default action is it should just create a MIDI region with those chords in it. So this is a super helpful compositional tool where you can just type in your chords and drag them down, and you don't have to input any MIDI whatsoever. So just wanted to clarify that before we move on. And let's move over to the chorus here. So I just want the same shaker pattern here. Now, if you choose the cymbal option here or the tom option, when you go back to details, instead of hi-hat, this will say something else. So like here, it's giving me options for the cymbals. So let's say I want to crash the ride in the choruses. Instead of tapping the ride, I can do that. Okay, so I decided to make a cut there because the video would end up being like over an hour long if I kept going on and on with all of the changes I made. If you purchased the course, you can get a full copy of this multi-track session with some MIDI and some session instruments in it. I went through and I made adjustments to pretty much everything to build out a partially finished musical arrangement. So if you want to use this to practice, to sort of refine it and make it even better, please do use it as an educational tool. Share it with your students if you're an instructor. But I hope you get the point. The point is that the session instruments are not necessarily meant for composing for you, but rather generating ideas quickly and efficiently based on your own chord progressions that you have defined. And then you can go back into those generated ideas and customize them to your liking. So this is just another compositional tool that hopefully gets you from point A to point B faster than ever before. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel to see more content like this. As always, thank you so much for the support, and thanks for watching.